Good morning. So, by myself, solo. We have a concrete pad back there. They've already got all hyper and did their thing, so hopefully they'll be chill. But you go to sit right here, huh? You gonna sit right here. Danielle's at work. She worked yesterday. She's working right now. Thanks, buddy. And I got my Work Life coffee. I don't want to spill it, but got my Work Life coffee. If you guys want some, go to worklifecoffee.com and you can get 4 bags of the night shift for the price of 3 when you use the code Crockers with an S at the end. But you guys see the pad. You guys know it's been a whole ordeal with it all, and reading through the comments, there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. And you guys know I wouldn't say harp, maybe more like banjo, since we're rednecks. I try not to harp on the bad comments or anything, but we do end up talking about them. But this one, I'm hoping these dogs, come on, y'all. I think it's great to see all the comments of people being like, dang, these comments are crazy. Like, a lot of these people are acting like they know what they're talking about or doing. And, people bashing the crew or the cement truck people, or even bashing me. They're bashing me like crazy. And I'm like, how? Like, I'm just trying to hire a company to come out and pour a slab for our house so we can build a house. And people are attacking me, saying that I tried to go cheap. I tried to cut corners. I did it wrong again, all this stuff. And I'm like, how am I to blame for something messing up when I'm just a customer? And I don't know. It's crazy. When it comes to this lifestyle and living out here and prices of everything, we're all about saving money, and that's why we do it yourself. But when we hire something out, we pay what the going rate is, and you never really know until you're in it. And people were saying that I tried to go cheap, and I was trying to I guess go with a cheaper contractor to not spend as much money, and I should have hired a more expensive crew. My whole thought process on that is, whenever we first even considered moving the grain bin, I told Danielle, because she kind of said something in passing, and then I brought it up, and I was like, yeah, we can actually do this. So we called up a place in Tulsa. I just Googled, because I don't know anyone around here. We don't know. I'm 4 years into living in Oklahoma. I can tell you people in Texas what to do, who to call, stuff like that. I have a bunch of friends and people I know in Texas that would know people. But here, I don't really know anybody. And whenever we first decided to do this, again, I called a bunch of people, different companies and whatnot, and we were told about the average price on all of them. And then when this concrete crew came out, they're like, hey, just curious what the other people quoted you. And he was like, yeah, that's about the going rate. And so it's beyond me. And actually, we used word of mouth. That's how we found out about the concrete crew, the people that brought dirt. They're the ones that recommended this crew. And when you get a recommendation by someone, you pretty much go with it, unless people are talking trash, but they're not going to recommend someone if they did a bad job. And so they said, yeah, this crew's done a bunch of jobs around here. They've done a lot of stuff for the city. They've done all sorts of stuff. Huge pads, little sidewalks. They've done it all. And when you hire, let's say, a concrete crew, how do you know if they're good or not? They can't physically bring you their work. They can't allow you to go to other people's houses and see what they've done. If they've poured slabs, there's already a building on top of it. I can't go look at that. So how, and this is a true question, is how do I, as a homeowner that wants to build a house, how do I find out how good these people are? You can look up reviews. I know people are saying, well, check out the reviews online. Well, that only means so much. When it comes to reviews, I've learned this, and I learned it a long time ago, and being in business on your own, and I have friends that are in business, not concrete, but other businesses. They talk about it all the time. The average person leaving a review is only a bad review. And that's true. Go to Yelp, go to any restaurant, go to whatever. I've eaten at restaurants where it's phenomenal. It's great. I love it. And the reviews are garbage. I've been to hotels where the reviews are garbage, but it was a great hotel. I've just anything like that. You learn that people leave reviews because they're mad and they didn't get what they wanted, so they leave reviews. There's a lot less good reviews than there are bad reviews. And I had called around and did that, and when this concrete crew showed up, they showed me pictures. I said, how can I see what you've done? And they pulled out pictures on their phone, and they were just swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping through all the pads they did and all that. No, I'm not going to be able to see if there's cracks. No, I'm not going to be able to see how well it looked later on. No, none of that. But I went off of how many projects they worked on, stuff like that. And I'm not saying they're a bad company. I'm not going to sit here and say anything bad about anybody with that. It's just truly, at the end of the day, how does somebody that has no knowledge in concrete hire a crew and know that they're good? That's a genuine question. Again, I go off of recommendations, and that's how we found this crew, and it just is what it is. I do think there are things in the last couple of videos on the Crockers that people have taken out of context, people have taken wrong, people have come up with their own conclusions, and I'll address some of that on the Crockers video. But I have been in contact, and things are definitely changing and not what I said in the last video. I'll just say that. So, it just is what it is, and I'm very curious on y'all's end. How would you find out if a company is good or not when it's something that deals with something that they can't show you a product to your face? How do you know if we hire somebody to build us a barn that they're going to build a good barn? They could show us pictures all day, but it doesn't mean you're gonna be able to see all the imperfections or the buildings they messed up on. How are you gonna know about concrete? How are you gonna know about anything, when it comes to stuff? People that do plumbing, people that do electrical work, the only thing you can go off of is reviews online, and most people that leave reviews never leave good reviews. They only leave bad reviews. And I could tell you that just from a personal standpoint. Rarely do I ever think, I'm going to go leave a really good review on these people. But if it's really bad, I don't leave reviews, but people will jump and leave a bad review way, way quicker than they will a good review. So how do you truly find the right people for the job? And I would just like to know. I'd like to know what people do, because maybe I'm just ignorant to it and I'm trying to learn. Maybe on the next go around with whatever we do, it'll help us out. Again, I get it. Some companies are huge franchises, and some aren't. But you can't solely go off of reviews you see online. And when it's a recommendation, you go off of that. So I kind of want to know that. And then I also want to know how many bad experiences have y'all had in your lifetime with anything. Hiring out an expert and it doesn't come out good. Because I could tell you this, Jared and I have had the absolute worst luck when it comes to mechanics. We have horror story after horror story of bad experiences with mechanics, all the way down to one time they took out Jared's transmission out of his car and started working on it when we just went in to get an estimate. And whenever we showed back up, they're like, "You owe us this much money," and we were like, "What?" And we had to call the cops. They threatened to do a bunch of stuff, and we had to call the cops on them, and we had to pay them for their time, and they put the transmission in the trunk and said, "We're not doing any more work." So we had to pay them to take Jared's transmission out when that's not what we asked them to do. And then we didn't want them to do any more work because they already charged us a lot of money for that for no reason. They never should have done it. Called the cops, and the cops said, "Well, we can't do anything about it. You have to pay them for their time or they can keep your car." So we paid them all this money to take Jared's transmission out, and they put it in the trunk, and we left, and we were out money and out a job. That's crazy. I had a time, I took a car in for transmission problems. This was all back when early 20s. And took it to a shop. And when we went to go pick it up, it was slammed to the ground. And we were like, "What in the world? My car wasn't slammed to the ground. What is going on here?" And I remember pulling up to the shop the first time, and there was a car out front that was slammed to the ground. And whenever we got back, the car was up and my car was slammed to the ground. And then we confronted a worker because he went with us for a test drive, and the worker said, "Yes, don't tell him I said this, but they took your springs out and replaced it with the other car, and it's not going to be good if you bring it up." So we brought it up, and the guy threatened to beat us up, and we had to call the cops. And then I had to pay him for the job, and I left with my car slammed to the ground, and he threatened to beat me up and keep my car if I didn't pay. We've had the craziest amount of bad experiences, and these are just shops you find anywhere. I could go on and on about bad experiences with people that we've hired, and it just didn't come out good. I'm not saying anything bad about these concrete people. I'm just saying in general, how do you find out who's actually good? Because you can't trust reviews. I tried that in the past. You try to do recommendations. I don't really trust that. It's just a guessing game. And that's why I told Danielle, I said, and again, I'm not bashing the concrete crew. I'm not bashing the concrete truck people. I'm not bashing anybody. It's just more of, this is why I prefer to do it yourself. Because chances are things will mess up, and I would rather not hire somebody and it messes up than to pay somebody it messes up and you're out money. So that's just where I'm at. I'm curious about y'all's experiences, your advice, all that stuff. So comment down below. Let me know. I got stuff to do, though. Danielle's at work, and then we'll be back on it. So, all right, catch you on the next one. Bye.